Photography as a valid and lucrative career option. Is it possible? Of course, anything's possible, but is it respectable? Hello, my name is Alicia, and that's exactly what I'm here to talk to you about. I will go into the brief history of photography and also why it is important in today's society. And then I will talk about a few career options and also salary and schooling needed to become a photographer. Joseph Knipp created the daguerreotype. It was a big box like this, and it had a reflector on it and was able to take a photograph. It of course was different than the ones that we have today, however it did the job. Most photographers in the 1800s were considered amateurs. Photographers in the 1800s were not necessarily worried about taking a good picture, but creating something that we could take pictures on. This photograph was taken by Louis Daguerre in 1839. This is the first known photograph with humans in it. There are so many reasons photographers are needed in today's society. A few being weddings or birthday parties or any type of event that is a special occasion to you. It is important for a photographer to know why a client is seeking out a photographer. There is a meaning behind each photograph, and it is important for a photographer to capture that moment that the client is looking for. Another reason we need photography is for advertisement. We are now in 2018, and fashion designers depend on a photographer to create that vision that they are seeking. Fashion designers have to pay a lot of money for their photograph to be in any type of magazine or any type of internet article. They have to pay a lot of money. So a photographer needs to get that perfect shot that the designer is looking for. There are many career options in photography, a few being wedding photography, portrait, and also stock photography. Let's start with wedding photography. Wedding photography is the quickest way to make money. A wedding photographer can make about $5,000 per wedding. However, a beginning photographer usually only books about one wedding per year. Wedding photographers are usually booked 1 year in advance, so usually they don't have time to focus on any other genre besides weddings. Portrait photography happens all year long. There's always something to do with portrait photography. Whether it's a family portrait or just an individual picture, there's always something to be photographed. In smaller cities, a portrait photographer can make about $80 to $100 per photo shoot. In bigger cities, they can make about $500 per photo shoot. A portrait photographer in the beginning might like to choose to start out in a smaller city. However, once they start knowing the trade and building their business, most portrait photographers or any photographer at that is going to want to move to a bigger city or at least be able to travel to a bigger city. Stock photography is something that even an amateur photographer can do. Stock photography is a quick and easy way to make money. Pretty much what stock photography is a photographer or even an amateur photographer would upload photos to a website, which there are many stock photography websites that a photographer can choose from, and then they would pretty much just sit back and wait for somebody to buy them. There are numerous different peoples that can buy stock photography. The most common would probably be a college student they have to do a project for school and they need to use a certain type of photo. Well, if your photo meets their criteria, they're going to buy that photo. Stock photography, you're not going to make millions of dollars. However, you could make enough to take your family out to dinner or even to make a mortgage payment. It's up to what the genre is that you take pictures of and what people are looking for. Schooling is not required to become a photographer. However, with many self-taught photographers out there, it is good for a photographer to at least do some type of schooling. Whether they go to school just to learn about the business or even to learn about their camera or editing, a photographer should do some type of schooling. Going to school does not ensure that a photographer is going to get that next big job. However, it builds your confidence and it teaches you things that not everybody knows about. Another thing that's good about going to school is that you learn about communication skills and you learn about your math skills that you're going to need with any business if photography doesn't work out for you. Even though photography could be a hobby, it also could be a lucrative career option. Where you look, you're going to see a photograph. Whether you're walking down the streets and you see that billboard, somebody took that photograph and they probably got paid a lot of money to do so. Dorothy Lang said it best, "Photography takes an instance at a time, altering life by holding it still." I hope with this speech you were able to see that photography can be a lucrative career option.